Pronounce your name and I don't want to be rude. Sakib Lali. Sure, I can type out like a paragraph or talk about it for a minute, but it's not going to help you become a better trader. To become a better trader, you have to have a routine and you have to have a systemized format and process to learn. You have to have an order to learn things, and you have to sit down at a desk and formally learn it like a university. And then once you've learned it, you go on an exchange, you put some real money in, a little bit, only a little bit, and then you either paper trade or trade with real money, and then you test your theories, and then if it's wrong and if you're losing money, then you're better off to change up the strategy, edit it, revise it, fix whatever you did wrong, and that's the process of becoming a successful trader. It's not me sharing a strategy with you. I can share all the strategies in the world with people, but the execution that it comes down to, it's not going to work. I mean, for the people that have been following me for like 5 years now, you all know my strategies. Short the break, I catch the fifth wave at the top. Pretty much that's it. I do a continuation pattern. They're very easy strategies that I talk about often, but how do you do it with precision? And what do you look for, right? It's the planning phase that really gets people sometimes. Let me just have some of my coffee, then I'll wait another minute for people to stream, and then we'll go from there. I'm tired today. I did 340 calories on the elliptical. 45 minutes, non-stop, intense. Super tired today, but I feel really good and healthy. I got a wedding to go to. Oh, I got water all over me. I have a wedding to go to in June, so I'm trying to be extremely healthy. Trying to actually fit into my fat suit. All right, so let's begin. Welcome, everybody. Today's date is, Day Traders Club, Team Philakone. My wife designed it. This is what lets me trade extremely well. I am on fire this month. IRB grew $12,000 to $70,000 in a very short period of time, in like 3 weeks. Literally. If you guys remember 3 weeks ago, I'm like, I'm just going to take out all of my money and put it in my ledger, or most of it. And I took out everything and left like $12,000, $13,000. Already grew it back up to 70,000 pretty fast. I'm also like making some just stupid trades lately. I think I'm up. How much am I up? Like, I'll show you guys. Oh man, I don't want to go into my P&L right now. But on Bitcoin alone in 30 days, if you take a look, that's from January the 11th to today, February the 10th. I'm up literally $56,000 just scalping quite a bit. Didn't take any losses at all. Like literally zero losses. And no, I didn't actually trade 434 Bitcoins. Like sometimes I go into a long position and then I back out, right? So I might go into with like 10, 20 Bitcoins and then I back out of it. So it's going to add on to the total buy and sells there. And then some people are really not intelligent and they're like, the difference between this price and that price, it's only 0.6%. I'm like, well, you can't be that stupid. Like, this is accounting for everything. So it's obviously at different price points that I'm trading, not only at that specific price point. Some people, they really blow my mind with their inability to read a chart or just read things in general or just know what I'm talking about. So having a really good month. Just on a quick note, my wife and I, we donated a total with her family, $13,000. And yesterday was a really busy day for her. She was basically communicating with people who were stranded in the cities where the earthquake was, that had no way of getting out, that had children that needed to go to like a hospital, and there were no cars that were leaving the city. So she spent the entire day organizing transportation for a bunch of people. And she got this one particular family out that stood out who had like a 2-year-old child, and the child had a mental disability. And she was just losing her mind, like this 2-year-old, She wasn't handling it well. They had no place to live. And they were living on the streets for days. And my wife, she arranged transportation. And I was really proud of her for that. So, but that's kind of the limit that I'm going to donate to this cause. I already donated with the family 250,000 Turkish lira, which is a pretty significant amount in my opinion. And I've got, I've got my family to take care of too, right? But you know what makes me really sad? That people in my home country, Canada, not a single person, only 3 people reached out to me and asked me if I was okay. And then I asked them, like, just some random friends, like, did you donate? No comment at all. That's how selfish the people are from my home city, Winnipeg. That's how, like, that's a place where people go or stay forever and their dreams, they freaking die. And nobody makes out of that city alive. Unless you're like really, really ambitious like myself, you'll leave that shitty city. So I'm really happy to be able to be here with you guys. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. I called this hard yesterday, guys. I called it hard in the group. Like, I'm talking really hard. If you were in my Discord group, you would have seen it right here. Okay. Update on the market. Bitcoin is ready to potentially smash 22,340. If it breaks, I'll most likely, I meant to say trade either way, not tease. I'll trade either way. I wrote another video. Pay attention. Bitcoin is either broken already or could soon. Keywords, could. Doesn't mean it has to. That must be understood. So don't be a dummy and start entering positions early. And I posted again. These are all like 4 or 5 minute videos explaining my exact strategies. Better listen up. And here's the part where it's pretty much about to break right there. And that's how I was able to make $8,000 profit yesterday on one single trade. And it was a really substantial trade here. This one right there. That's why we donated more. Huge trade. And I'm going to talk to you guys about how I caught it first of all. So it was really important to understand this. And I hope that in the future, if you understand this strategy, it can help you either take profit or start to enter a bear position and a short. Okay. So the first thing we have to do always is try to identify a pattern and then a support. To me, a pattern and a support comes in 2 ways. Okay. A support comes in 2 ways. Usually a support can come in a triangle where you're going to find a support like that. Okay. And then you're also going to find another kind of like a low that forms a support. So this one needs to break. And then this one needs to break too, the previous low. Okay. And then another case is a channel. Sometimes you'll see like a channel and that channel is treated the exact same way as, hold on, where is the channel? I'm like out of my mind today. So this channel needs to also break and then breaks there and then it breaks here as well. Okay. And sometimes you don't really know because the channel is so like slanted that you don't really know where the support actually is. Okay. And then you'll get like wicks that come down multiple times that hit it. So then this whole region becomes a support. And that's what I've been talking about for pretty much like 3 weeks now with Bitcoin. So first of all, identify how long this sideways pattern has been going on for. It went on for like 18 days roughly. And then the first thing that we should notice about Bitcoin is that it kind of forms like a channel. Okay. I'm going to draw it a lot better. Don't worry. It forms a channel like that. Would you agree that that is pretty damn solid if you look at it like that, right? It's hard to argue against that. See it? Look at the different touches that it makes. Here, 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 here. Okay? So that was incredibly important to acknowledge. We've seen the channel. And then what we see, first of all, is it breaks out of the channel. And that's usually not the best entry on the break. Because what a lot of the times it'll happen is it'll come to the downside and then pretty much hit like the first reasonable support and then bounce and then retest. So you're going to see around here, right? That was a pretty big retest if you've noticed. Right around there, right? So it hits here and it goes back up and this is the rejection. Okay, this is the rejection right there. That was the big one yesterday. Okay, and then what we also noticed is that at $22,300, 340 around there, around this low right there. Okay, right here. That was super important to acknowledge last night. This low right there because of this candle. This one candle was the most important candle to focus on because if that broke, it would have caused hell. Okay, so I was kind of worried about my position a little bit, I have to admit, because I was going up and down like $3,000-$4,000 around here. Around here, it was going up and down like $3,000-$4,000, my P&L. So that green line was so important because it was the previous low there And it was also like kind of the resistance, the support region of this area. See it? So it goes far back. That means by just assuming that if this one broke, you should have entered a short position there. And that's how I was able to enter a short. I entered a little bit early. I anticipated it was going to break down. Okay, I definitely anticipated around 22,497. That was my entry. Okay, I entered it right around here. Okay, right around there. And it was going up a little bit. I wasn't down that much. It was like 3,000 at most I was down. But then it was just hammering at here. So if you take a look here, it was just hammering, right? So if I use a bar replay to show you, you'll see what I mean by it's hammering. So then once you're acknowledging the support regions, like this is a clear support here. Okay, this because of all the wicks poking down, that's one level of support. This is another level of support right there. So then you go to your different time frames of RSI, MACD, okay? And then if I go here, like one more bar, we'll just say, one more bar, you start to see it cross down, right? This guy just looks like it wants to go down. One more. It's already going down now. So not only is it going down, actually it recovered there. Well, let's go one more. There we go. This one now just looks pretty bad, right? You can almost anticipate a drop coming just based off of the MACD on the 5-minute. And then you say to yourself, okay, well, if the MACD on the 5-minute chart, which is a low time frame, is bearish, what are the high time frames saying? So you go to a higher time frame and you say to yourself, holy crap, the 15-minute is super bearish, right? The 30-minute chart is so bearish. The 1 hour is really freaking bearish. So if all these time frames were bearish on the higher time frames and also on the low time frames, wouldn't that automatically mean that there's probably going to be a high chance for you to drop at this price point? So that's one of the main reasons why I entered this short. I entered it with a $600,000 position as soon as this region roughly started to break. And then it started to go down, okay? And then you didn't need to enter there. That's early advanced strategies of entering. But you could have entered right on the break of that 22,340 that I was mentioning. Right on the break, but you can't be on the 5-minute time frame. You can't be on that. You got to be on like a 30-second time frame if you want to catch that, and you have to have aggregate trades on. Right? This is the only way for you to catch it. There's no other way. You have to be like a Jedi. You have to have this website on. This is called aggregate trades, right? I don't have it on all the time, but when it's volatile, I do. The reason why you want to have it on is because I don't keep it on the same screen. Don't keep it on the same screen as Binance, because you're going to have to go back and forth and you're going to be so slow. Keep it on a different screen. So when you see a critical price point that looks like it's trying to get broken on your other screen, you better have your aggregate trades on there. If all of a sudden you see this here, aggregate trades takes all of the exchanges and all of the buys and the sells over $100,000 shows up on here. So if all of a sudden you start to see this screen flash red, like I'm talking about red, and they're big numbers in the hundreds of thousands to millions, and it's also at a price point that's a support, you better short that coin. Because it implies that, hey, we're at a support level and the bears are just flooding the screen with sells. So that's how you enter a short position very, very quickly on a break, okay? And then you're also going to notice that the volume would have picked up tremendously as well. I don't have it on right now, but I do have the volume on. You're going to see that, my goodness, like as this candle is forming, you would have seen it. 100% you would have seen it, and it was a nasty, like this one right there. This one that first broke should have got your attention and you should have entered on it. But you only had like a 5 to 10 second window to enter. And that's precision. So I entered on that break and literally my trade was so freaking fast, right? I entered around here, closed it around there. It was like 20 minutes or something. And I took it, my close at around the 2150 for the $8,000 profit. So that's how you successfully catch a break. So there's many different steps, right? Like that person was asking earlier, hey, Philakone, can you tell me some of your scalping strategies? Sure. all day. I can tell you it, but it's not going to help for shit if you don't know the underlying strategies of what to look for. So trading is very systematic and requires many different steps of planning and especially observing. So once again, just to summarize the Bitcoin break, it was easy. Honestly, guys, I didn't take a trade all week and it was easy to catch this right here. So this month, my P&L, I'm going to show you guys my month P&L just to be super transparent. I'm going to put it on my phone, then I'm going to post it in the Discord group. So my P&L this month is $14,000. I'm up only, but I've only traded 4 days, right? So it's not really the craziest. So this is what I'm at. I had a $1,000 day. I'll post in the Discord, and I'm just going to show you guys that like my strategies, they work, but not only do they work, but you got to refine and notice everything that goes on and be able to systematically figure out like, why is this going to work? It's just uploading right now. Okay, here we go. So here's my P&L for the whole month so far, but I've only traded 3 or 4 days. So this month, like last month, I finished off at $85,000, which I showed everybody because people are like, oh, Philakone never shows his P&L. Well, I'm doing pretty well. I'm up $14,000 right now, net profit. Overall, I'm up 15.5K, but I'm down 1,000. I'll probably finish this month anywhere between 60,000 and 100,000 like usual, right? So I'm definitely going to have a 50,000. I always have a $50,000 month. It's just how it goes, right? So this strategy, once again, the way you would have caught it is, yeah, I'm going to take a look at Dusk After Anderson Yuan because that's on my watch list. Okay, so Bitcoin here makes a channel. It breaks, but it never breaks the green line first. Never ever broke it. So then it retests here. This right here, after that candle formed on the 4 hour, you could have caught it and entered a short for sure because it tried to get back into the channel, but it made a shooting star candle. So you should have entered there. Like anybody that entered there, smart as fuck, I'll tell them. Okay, another way you could have entered is a break here. Like anywhere down a break over here, okay, you would have entered on a break right there and right here, right? So 22.7, you would have put your stop a little bit higher in my opinion. Right? Something like that. Something like that. I'm just going to close this now, the bar replay, because we're lower. You could have put your stop, as soon as that big red candle formed, you could have entered it somewhere during those 4 hours. Put your stop about maybe 1% above that break, and you would have done really well. You would have targeted something like at least a 1-to-1, and you would have, or even 3%. This would have made a 3-to-1 RR. That would have been a phenomenal trade. So your entries were easy. One was there, one was here. Okay, one was right here, like mine, around here. So I took the worst entry out of all of them. But if you look back on it now, doesn't it make a lot of sense to enter on the test, to enter on the break, to enter on the second break? Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And right now, I'm super excited because I'm going to accumulate a lot on this dip. And I'm hoping, I hate using the word hope, but you know what? In this particular case, it would be great. So I don't know what wave count this is, but I do know that this right here is probably the third wave, and that's the 4 and that's the 5. So I'm assuming that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a big 5. So if that's the count up there, then this must be it. Something like that. Okay? And this is probably a 4. And I'm going to bet on the fact that there's going to be a $25,200 test. That's my guess. Because of this reason. Because of the MACD, or sorry, the EMAs on the weekly chart that are likely to cross over. So I use the EMAs. Some people use moving averages. Some people use smooth. I don't use that. I use the EMAs because they're weighted more at the front. Like weighted. Like they have more weight at the front. So they count for more. That's why I like it. So when it counts for more, it reacts faster than the traditional moving averages. So moving averages, like if you're using a 200 EMA, the ones way in the back, like the bars 150 to 200, they have just as much weight as the ones at the front, which I don't like. I want it to react faster. So I still think that we're going to get a 5-wave combo. Doesn't that just look so simple? 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5-wave right where these moving averages, the 200 and the 55 may have a death cross. Man, I don't know if it's going to death cross. No idea. Because it could just go for a while. Like, this yellow line could just go for a while, honestly. And then the blue line could also just go for a while. Like leading into the next year. Like, we just don't know. But, and also the lagging indicator, it's, keep in mind, this is so fucking lagged. Like, the 200 moving average uses 200 bars, and it goes all the way back, like an insane amount. Like, 200 moving average on the weekly is ridiculous. Let's talk about how many bars you need. Okay, you need 200 bars. So we're literally taking data back from April of 2019. Do you understand that? April of 2019 is where the data comes from. So what this death cross could even symbolize, if it happens, is that the lagging indicator happened way back. The death cross could even indicate that it's representing this bearish nature where it first started to tell or to drop. So I wouldn't rely on it entirely at all. But it seems like it's a good resistance. The 200 moving average on the weekly has held very traditionally so far. I mean, if you take a look all the way back to the history of Bitcoin, it held there, okay? It broke down only a little bit here, and it still held, and it bounced back every time. So it can go a little bit below it, but I don't think it's going to stay down there below long. Because Bitcoin is an asset that's going to perform extremely well over time no matter what. So if we take a look that we finally broke below it, I don't think it's going to stay down there for years. I would bank on the fact that by the end of this year, we're going to finish well above the price that we're at now. Like over $22,000 guaranteed. 2024 is going to be a stupid good year. And then 2025 is probably going to be the major bull run. So you've only got like a year and a half to accumulate at most, okay? So if this makes another rally up there, I'd be very happy. If this makes another dip to over here, I will probably add anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 to my long-term portfolio. If it falls down to this range, basically the same range as we were at before, I'll probably add like $200,000. And then if it falls even lower, anywhere below this price point, I don't give a crap. I'm going to add like $500,000. And then when I do the ROI calculations for long-term, my little 2 mil portfolio is going to turn into something like $12 million by the time we hit an all-time high of $100,000. So you better make sure you understand that every $10 you put into the market right now, it's got an opportunity to turn into like $100 and up. If Bitcoin hits $100,000 in the next bull market, which I'm going to bet my life on the fact that it will, your $100 will easily turn into $1,000 if you diversify right. So just to go over some really quick tips, okay? Like right now, guys, I forgot to say that the support levels that I anticipate is probably going to be anywhere between here. I'm going to just guess. Somewhere between here. It's a big range, but I just think it's going to be around here. If it bounces, that's assuming if. Keep in mind that it can also fail. Like, we don't know if Bitcoin's going to hold and make another wave up even. Wave failures can occur all the time, and we can get more drops to the downside. But it doesn't matter to a day trader. All that a day trader wants is volatility. Up or down, we don't care. We'll short it or we'll long it. As long as there's coins like Dusk today that's moving 36%, we can try to profit. Okay, I was about to short this coin, but now I'm really doubting this coin because it does some shit I don't like, and we'll go over that very soon. So Bitcoin's support range, I expect it to bounce anywhere between like literally 20,200 to 21,200. I'll probably buy more closer to under $20,000, like just 50K. And then I really want another wave. And of course, if we don't hold over there, what we're going to see is just a gigantic drop to the downside. And we're just going to play it one support level at a time. One support level at a time. And then eventually we'll probably hit something like over here. This seems to be pretty reasonable, this line so far. So this is the worst case scenario around the 18K ranges. If it holds, great. So there's many different strategies for investing long term if you want to build wealth, right? You got to make sure that you're choosing the right coins, and it's really dependent on your financial circumstances as well. So you can't just buy like Bitcoin and expect to do very well, for example. Like diversification is so important. In my opinion, when the market does drop, Bitcoin should be the only coin that you buy like in mass amounts, like over 60% of it, 20% should go into like Ethereum. It's just my opinion. And I think like 20% should go into alts. So that's your 100% of the portfolio. The reason for that is because when Bitcoin hits a bottom, the BTC dominant, it skyrockets. And alts don't really recover that well. Alts may even bleed against Bitcoin's rally because the money is injected into Bitcoin. If you look at the history of BTC dominance, it's always been like that, right? So when it's Bitcoin season, it's not alt season at the same time. It may rally, right? But if you put your money into Bitcoin, for example, first, that's what I'm going to do, the majority, you're going to get a higher chance of getting a good return on it. And then once you get a decent return on it, you can cash out some of that Bitcoin and then put it into alts to get ready for alt season. That's what I plan to do. So if Bitcoin drops, no problem. So make sure that you're investing based off of your financial circumstance. That's super important to understand because you don't want to invest way more than you can afford to lose. And if you're investing, let me give you guys some tips, okay? So here are some key principles that's considered effective for building a long-term portfolio and wealth. So first thing is, of course, diversification that I mentioned earlier. You got to make sure you carry a lot of different coins. And if you do this, you do the research, do the background research, see what's popular out there. And of course, there's different methods of investing. You can choose. It's up to you, the combinations that you choose. The worst way to invest, in my opinion, is in a very speculative type of market where coins are upcoming and nobody even knows about them. And they have a very low market cap. They're barely traded. It's a very new team that's upcoming. But hey, maybe they have a great idea and you like it, and you might make like 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 X on it. But the amount of research you've got to put into actually learning about these coins, it's stupidly too much. So I don't invest that way. And then the second way is to invest in more like medium cap coins. So maybe top like 100 to top 300 coins that are upcoming that you really believe have a chance to start getting into the top 100 coins. Right? That's another way, but that also requires a tremendous amount of research as well. The way I invest is I only choose the top 100 coins, and I believe in the project. They're very well established. The team, the CEO, the developers, they're on point, and they're comparable to many other coins out there as well, and they've established themselves already. And some of them might be newer. Like, for example, the coins that I hold, that's a little bit newer, is like Algorand. Right? Algorand hasn't really been around for a long time. Solana hasn't been around for a long time either, right? They've only been around for like a little bit compared to coins like Cardano, for example. Actually, not Cardano, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, I meant. So if you take a look at the coins that I'm looking at, I like Algo. They've only been around for a short time. I like Link. I love Link. Link is one of my favorites. I like Cardano. They've been around for a while, right? I like Aave. You can do the research yourself. I like Solana. I'm like biased towards XRP because it was one of the first coins where I made like over $150,000 on it just by holding like I held literally, how much did I hold? Like $20,000 of XRP at a quarter, and it turned into like over $150,000 profit, and in 2018. So I love them. I love AVAX as well. They're doing great. And other coins that I'll have on my radar soon is DOT. DOT is ridiculous if you don't know about them. They have the third most amount of developers at 2,000, right under Ethereum. Bet you guys didn't know that. The Polkadot has the third most amount of developers, and they are secretly working their ass off and building partnerships. HBAR is going to be up there one day as well. And these coins are huge in my opinion. So this is what I like, but it doesn't mean that what you might like, you have to go with these specific coins. Whatever you believe in, after you've done thorough research and hours of it, make sure that you diversify regardless and choose your portfolio depending on what you like long-term and what you believe. Not all of them will be winners. Some of them will be winners, but not all of them are going to win. For example, Solana versus Matic, right? They're kind of trying to do a very similar thing. They're not always going to both win, right? Some of them might survive. It's called the Great Reset. The Great Reset is when a lot of these coins are just going to get wiped out of the system because they're no longer valid compared to other coins. The Great Reset kind of happened already with companies like Three Arrows Capital, FTX, right? Alameda Research, a lot of these crappy companies and coins are going to get wiped out. So make sure you diversify to give your portfolio a much better fighting chance of winning. If you go put your eggs only in one basket, not good. Another step that, excuse me, that will really contribute to your long-term success is dollar cost averaging. And that's just a simple strategy that involves investing a fixed amount of money on a regular basis, no matter what. And the reason you do this is because you're trying to beat timing the market. If you're trying to time the market and catch the exact bottom, chances are you're not going to do it. And if the people do catch the bottom, they're extremely lucky. But the chances of people doing it is really low. So dollar cost averaging, it just allows you to buy on a regular basis, no matter what the price is, but then you'll weigh it differently. So for example, if Bitcoin's dropping below like $17,000, right? Or below 14,000, you might want to weigh more and add when it's hitting that lower price point. Because believe it or not, if Bitcoin only drops 40% and the entire market follows like anywhere between 40 to 70%, that 40% drop on Bitcoin, it will translate into making 3 times more money than you would if you bought now. So for example, if you bought now with a $10,000 portfolio and you just divided it up with, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and alt, if it went up to all-time highs, you would only make about 5x. Literally, that's it, just 5x. Okay, that's not much. So 10K turns into 50K. But if Bitcoin dropped another 40%, your $10,000, instead of turning to 50, it would actually turn to $150,000. So that's the power of making sure you're buying in intervals, and especially when the price drops even more. So make sure that you're consistently dollar cost averaging. Otherwise, you're trying to catch the bottom, you're going to get screwed. Trust me, guys. And another major thing to understand is patience. Patience is huge. Long-term investing, it requires patience, and it requires a willingness to hold on to that investment for long terms, even through crazy market volatility. It is so important to understand that there will be ups and downs along the way, and over time, your investments should grow if you remain committed to your long-term investment. So, got to make sure you have balls of steel to hold on. Just because you see like today, like my portfolio today dipped about 6.5%. 6.5% on over $1 million is a pretty big number to anybody. I'm sure of that. So I'll see my portfolio someday sway like $100,000 and up. Now I'm not saying it's a big portfolio because I know some people who have like way more than me, and their sways are like sometimes $1 million, right? When the market moves like 10%. They're literally sending me screenshots of like, hey, my portfolio's down $900,000 today. But you know what? They don't care because long term, their 8-figure portfolio is going to turn into like, literally, I know some people that I'm close to, legit, that they don't give a crap about Twitter. They don't use social media. They're not even in the crypto space. They're just dudes that play video games all day, and they stream like their video games and stuff like that. And they're just living in their gigantic condo somewhere like downtown Vancouver or in Toronto. And they're just sitting on literally like $15 million in their portfolio right now. And they just know that they're going to turn into like a nine-figure portfolio 100 millionaire one day. And I'm not like super close to them where I see them often, but we chat all the time. Those guys don't worry. I'm not going to worry about dipping portfolios here and there. And you shouldn't either. So stay committed to your long-term plan and understand that Bitcoin is here to stay long-term. And if you have the strength to hold, you're going to make it through. So it's also good to get professional advice, right? I'm not saying I do that, but there's a lot of people out there that have made a tremendous amount of money and they could advise you. Like that's always an opinion as well. I advise only a very small group of people that I grew up with in the crypto space. And sometimes they pay me, sometimes they don't. But I don't advise because I would charge too much for my time. And I really value my time. And to be quite honest, I would rather on a chill day, sit back, spend time with my pets, with my wife, cook some food in the kitchen, unwind, exercise, watch TV, read a book, learn Turkish. I'd rather do that for an hour than charge somebody like $500 an hour. I wouldn't enjoy consulting as much, and I don't particularly enjoy the pressure as well. But but it may work for you, for other people. Find somebody you trust that manages a large amount of money and get professional advice. That can always help you long term as well. Another thing you got to do is regularly review your portfolio and the entire market. So if you review your investments, and you could rebalance your portfolio sometimes, right? For example, if you're catching Bitcoin at a very bottom, like I mentioned, it would be wise to be Bitcoin heavy. And perhaps when Bitcoin's reaching a top, you can sell some of it, right? And maybe some alts haven't exploded yet. And you could rebalance your portfolio to shift it into some alts. So you don't necessarily need to just hold a specific amount of that crypto and just keep it there forever. So sometimes on a major rally where there's a lot of signs that it's starting to get bearish, you might take some profit. You might take 10% of your profit and then wait it out, of course, and look for a better entry to add more. So there's always many different ways to manage your portfolio as well. Not only that, you got to make sure it's going to align with your risk tolerance as well, right? So I always like to look at my portfolio and evaluate where I can micromanage it to a point where I could profit even a little bit here and there, and that's going to help. So make sure you're considering your financial situation as well. You don't want to put all of your eggs in crypto if you don't have the necessary skills to thrive and be profitable in the market. So for example, like if you have $20,000 and that's all you have to your name, probably not the best idea to put $20,000 into crypto if you don't know how to identify, for example, a longer term trend, if you don't know how to take profit, if you don't have the discipline and the emotional control and the focus especially to hold long term. Because if you put in $20,000 and you see like a little dip of 20%, well, if you cash it out, 20% of $20,000, $4,000, all of a sudden you got $16,000 left, and that's not a really wise thing to do, right? So that's kind of all that I wanted to talk to you guys about, like for the investing side. And just make sure you understand there's always a high level of risk with crypto. There's no guarantee of success. And you never know, like crypto could go to zero one day, but is that likely? No, not really likely. But in my opinion, in my mind, I'm so set on the fact that Bitcoin is going to go to like $1 million one day and probably $100,000 in the next bull market. So in my mind, I see no risk. And of course, it's not the right mentality to have, but it's probably because I'm overall just so bullish on the crypto community in general. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I use a Nano Ledger. I use a Nano Ledger X. Okay, I'm just going to read some questions. Well, I'm done the stream today. I think it was a really long one. Hey, thanks a lot, Foodie, for watching my videos. I appreciate it. Hello from the Philippines. Nalmaha kita. Okay, well, I'm just looking for some questions to see if there's any good ones that are worth answering. If you guys are interested, right, like I don't make videos to show my course, but if you guys want to, like, go to my course, go buy my course. I have it on sale every so often, right now it's $17.49, but the first week of every month I'll most likely have a sale where it's 40% off, and I let 10 people get it. That's it. You'd be surprised, some people right now, they still buy my course for the full $17.49. And not a single person has ever said it's a bad course. And they're very proud of it. If you guys want to learn my strategies and you want a deal, just wait till the first week of March and I'll have a sale going on. And then it'll be 40% off. So you can get a lifetime Discord membership and my course for $10.49. So just check that out. The link is in the description below. I don't know, Josh A. That's a hard question. You're like, the only way you can figure out what exchange allows you to leverage is if you sign up for pretty much each exchange, and because only your country can really identify it, right? Or you're just gonna have to make a list of every exchange and then just Google them to see, right? I know America sucks. I know a lot of people use BitBuy. Is that what it's called? BITBY. So yeah. No, Salman, I don't do Discord discounts for my Discord group. I apologize for that. I think it's, you know what? Sure, if I was a shitty trader and I didn't make like millions of dollars a year day trading, I'd probably discount it, right? But fortunately, I'm a very successful trader, and a lot of people ask me, "Hey, Philakone, why do you have a Discord group And why do you sell courses if you are such a successful day trader? And the answer is so simple. The answer is, well, first of all, because I can, right? I'm a businessman, but that's not the real reason. I'm a businessman, like at heart. I'm sure you guys all know that, but that's not the real reason. The real reason is because it provides a lot of value to people. People want to know what I can teach. They want to learn what I know. And they want to be in a Discord group with me where I teach and I trade. So I'm going to give the public what they want. And I want to be engaged in the crypto community. I don't want to just be trading for myself all day on the computer. It's freaking boring. I want to be talking to people. I want to create content. I want to make good courses. And I'm competitive as fuck. I want to make my courses better than everybody else's out there. And I want to teach really good information compared to other people. So because of my competitive nature, because I know it's mutually beneficial for you and for me, I make money. You guys get a good course. It's mutually beneficial. Let's make a good course. So of course I'm going to make it pretty expensive. I value myself and my time. Imagine if you guys were really good at something, like really good at it. Would you charge next to nothing for your time? Hell no. If you were a great lawyer, you would bill a lot, right? If you were like a good golf instructor and you were highly sought after, you would charge a lot. There's no way that if you respect yourself and you're good at something, you would charge little. And I think my content's fire. Yeah, like I don't know about Trezor. I don't use that. I just use the Nano Ledger X because that's what I've been used to. But I'll take a look at Dusk right now because Dusk is performing very well against the market. So where is that coin? So Dusk is up 40 something percent today. It already smashed every support level. And it's still going today. So there's no idea where this is going to stop. Because if you take a look right now, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? So what we're seeing right now is that Dusk is actually forming another new wave. It's making like a third. Of course, it could fail anywhere. But that doesn't mean that that's not making a third right there. That is 1,000% a third wave that's forming. If that's not it, then maybe I'm wrong. Okay, if that's not it right there, then maybe I'm wrong and this is like a 1, a 2, this is the 3, 4, the 5. But fifth waves, they don't behave like that. Fifth waves do not behave like that. They are not that bullish. And then if you take a look, like it's reaching a resistance soon. Okay, if you just draw kind of a trend line like that, it's probably gonna reach a resistance here sometime. So I gotta get out of here. I wanna look. Oh man, it just smashed it. But see how volatile it is? Like just take a look really quickly. Like it's gonna hit a resistance soon. Like it's not gonna keep going like that, right? So I think this trend line is gonna hold for a while. If we zoom back, like, there's really no place stopping it right now. Like, there's no place. It can just keep going. I mean, I guess if you go by resistance levels, like, around here's next. But it looks like it's going to probably hit a resistance right around here first. And then if you count the Elliott wave theory, like, it's not even possible to count. You cannot count this. Because you cannot count it, means you should not trade it. Like, it's simple to me, my ideas of, really, like, if you can't count an Elliott wave, you just don't freaking trade it. And this right here, to me, there's, like, no identifiable pattern. Everything is so parabolic. The only reason I would short it is because of this line. But that line's not big enough for me to just short it, so I'm just going to stay out of it. So the key, like, to being a successful trader long-term is managing your risk. Knowing when the F to stay out. Just because you see a coin go up 45%, it doesn't mean I'm going to have FOMO and start chasing that trade and be like, oh, it went up a lot, I can long it, or hey, it might reach a top, I can short it. No, I don't look at it like that. I look at it as risk. I see it as this coin is so freaking crazy that I could probably lose, and there's a high chance that I would lose if I traded this coin. So I look at it from the perspective of risk, not FOMO to make profit. And hey, I'm okay with that because I'm still making anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000 and up, and it's not even a bear market. A month in a bull market. In a bull market, you guys all saw me last year. I was clearing like anywhere from 20 to 50,000 a day sometimes, and every month I was up over $400,000. So I'm pretty sure I can wait for that. Anyways, I'm gonna just stop here, and then I'm sorry guys, I don't take technical analysis requests anymore because it just takes too much time to do a very detailed one. So I'll catch you guys later. This is the long enough video already for 15 minutes. I didn't even know. Bye guys, take care. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, the notification, and subscribe button if you haven't already. Especially enjoy my content because I think my content is fire. And the goal is to ultimately help